time is now. It's back to the runs. It's like, wow, he's back to the runs. Straight dropping dimes. Clark Kent, Daily Planet, Metropolis Times. I write these raps while I'm under the gun. I see you back to get you some. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Pure, raw, uncut rap. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind because back to the rhymes. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind because it's back to the rhymes. Hold up. What that is? That's nothing. What that is. Okay. Made it upstairs, but it's only partially because it's very late. That's why it works sometimes. It's in Portland, and I can get to why that is in a minute. But let's go through this list. School Us album sales. So, no progress, no real. I did mention, someone said I'd made a rhyme on my route because I got stung by a bee and then I hurt my knee. Actually, it was I hurt my knee and then I got stung by a bee in that order, not the same time or the same day, but she noticed the rhyme. And I said, well, you know, I have a rap, I have a show. I could talk about that, but, you know, we didn't get to this. It didn't really connect, but I'll see him again. So anyhow, and who knows if they like hip hop, but that was my attempt, I guess you could say, at an album sale this week. I don't like Sunset's much country song. The one thing I'll say is I'm really glad my daughter's very enthusiastic about country music now. That's very fun. And my wife is equally unenthusiastic about it. So coming back from Portland today, my daughter was just hoping to listen to 10 minutes worth of country music, and my wife was not having that. So that is what it is. It just doesn't work for her, that kind of music. She can't handle it. So if she were to have fallen asleep on the ride back, I would have played some. That was our agreement, but she stayed awake, so didn't play any. But our mentors there in the business, for sure, I guess I'll say Tracy, he's a fan and he talks about it some, and that's cool. So I explained to my wife, it's like, hey, you know, the goal is to hang around these folks and spend time with them. You know, country music's what they want to hear. Or, you know, we're at their property in, say, in Southern Oregon. We want to hear some country music. They're going to be playing it. I mean, she might not want to hear it, but man, I'll be in the country. I think it'll happen eventually. I think we'll see if we ever get her to a point where she's got to embrace. Maybe I got to see if she'll handle some Kenny Rogers or something. You know, one step at a time. You know, it can't maybe be too twangy or something. Something that's, you know, there's a few of those songs. She knows the one with Justin Bieber and all that. I'm sure she's okay with that. You know, and was it Dan and Shay? You know, something like that. I'm sure she doesn't mind. So we'll just take it one step at a time. But you got to kind of ease them into it, possibly. You can't just shock them. Okay. YouTube channel. I cannot say how excited, I cannot de-emphasize how excited I am about this Finding Rabbi Yeshua Part 2. How well it's done so far without any promotion. It's up to, I think, 30 views now. That is incredible for what my objectives of getting 100 shares or 100 views. I haven't done any for that. I've shared Finding Rabbi Yeshua Part 1 94 times, and it's got 88 views. So, and now we got Will in our Saturday night Torah study, printing it out, you know, my YouTube channel. It calls it my website. It's the YouTube channel is not my website. And that he's trying to figure out how to search it, which is great news, because then that means he's looking for ways to share. I think he wanted to put it on our study guide. This isn't going out to tons of people, but a few is good, and it just makes it more. It's getting a little bit more official, so that's good. Because he's asking how he can search in YouTube. He's used a couple different names on his videos for some of the videos that aren't in the title. For instance, he talks about Taste of Judaism. I know he uses that term a lot, but we've never used that in a title. Making Jesus Jewish Again has been mentioned numerous times, but I don't think we've used that in a title, I don't think. So I had to tell him, well, we have this video series tapping into the roots of our faith. What's nice is if I type in Finding Rabbi Yeshua, tap into the roots of our faith, it comes up straight up, no questions asked. Because he's like, yeah, sorry. I typed in my dynamic, it came up. I'm sure you weren't paying attention when I mentioned this, because I probably talk too much and don't, but that's what I've hopefully said. But anyhow, if for those who aren't aware, Mic Dynamic will produce only a bunch of microphones. That's not going to work. But as I'm saying, if you do a little deeper search, more specific, that's a little more unique, like tapping the roots of our faith, Finding Rabbi Yeshua. You could, as Tom says, Mic Dynamic rhymes is what I tell people. Then you'll find it. So just not Mic Dynamic. Sorry, it won't work. Rules of, okay, don't want to keep going. Okay, so Will wants to, and I'm glad to do this, wants to continue on making videos, and we'll do that. And maybe renaming titles, and we'll do that. So I'm just going to kick back when it comes to content. I'm not even going to think about it. You decide. I'm talking about Will here. You decide what you want to make. We'll make it. And again, I talked to the one fella about his book, and I'll probably do something with him. But that's about it. I mean, I've got Will wanting to make a lot of content, and I think we can make a case for doing that. And again, I'm writing a song about what he's talking about right now. So I think that'd be good. I have other ideas, but he's wanting to do that. So I think that's great. Okay. Nothing major with the social media that I can say. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. Rules of engagement, nothing new to say. So Bellevue Bars, yeah, we're in Portland for that. Nothing big though, as far as for me, got my route, on Saturday, yesterday, well, it's past midnight, but basically yesterday, I'm starting to see where, okay, they want us to do a survey at work. And I sat in a nice leather chair in the condo towards the beginning of my route, and I sat there because I know I got a scanner that if I have less than 10 minutes, that's okay for everybody. If it goes over 10 minutes, that counts as a break, and I might have a conversation with somebody. So I got a 10-minute window to do anything at any time, and then as long as I get my route done in 8 hours. All right. And if you want to talk about rules of engagement, we could kind of use that framework for this. So if I'm able to sit in a nice leather chair in a condominium, my goal would be to go down we have a pipeline sheet to work on that, at least one contact. So again, I talk about these systems. Saturday, part of my system is not to contact anyone before noon. Sunday, I say not before 2, unless I see them at church, let's say. Monday through Friday, though, I make it after 9, not before. I don't do 8, but 9 o'clock and then no later than 9 to 9. So all these are systems. There, Jeff, how's your business? Okay, it's coming along, and I think for me, because what I see, I don't get very many huge blocks of time where I feel I can just really focus on it. So then it's like, all right, when are these little bits of time that I could think about it? Well, that was a short amount of time, and I could have done, tried to engage somebody at that point. That would be good. That's real progress. And so, yes, I would look to do that potential. So the way our week works, this is just details to say this is all for the purpose of, in this case, doing more with this music. Okay. Mondays are busy. I don't expect to have, the goal is to make 8 hours. Probably won't be able to do that. I'm probably going to ask for more than 8, but I can't in really good conscience mess around that day. So Monday, forget it probably. Tuesday, we get the ads. Until those ads are done, my goal is to get my route done in 8 hours and manage those ads. So that kind of eliminates Tuesday in a lot of ways for discretionary time, and oftentimes Wednesday, probably not into Thursday, but then it has to do with which day off I have. I have Thursday off this week. So my goal would be Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday, get the ads done, get my route done in 8 hours, have Thursday off, then I'll have Friday, Saturday. But then again, Saturday, not before noon. So maybe Friday would be a legitimate goal. And that would be a first for me with the new route adjustment, new line of travel to do that. So I'm working on my business. Everyone's okay. If I even did that once, that would be a major breakthrough because a lot of it's psychological. And for me, if I could be in a nice leather chair, people dread contacting people and doing all these things. Well, make it as, palatable as possible. Be in a nice environment. Be on speakerphone. You don't like calling the phone. They say the 10,000 pound phone. Set the phone down, be on speakerphone. However you got to do it. That's how I think. I am just amazed that people don't, and they can't, they don't, I don't think it's not ever talked about in our coaching and our teaching. And I think it should be. Let's get down into the details why people are not engaged. And I'm just talking about me. I'm telling you right now what my situations are. But I think each person has to have a conversation. All right. You want to start sharing this concept with people. Where are you going to do that? When would you do that? Where would you be? What time would you do that? What are you thinking? Because this stuff doesn't, I'm going to do it. Enough's not going to rip off the Band-Aid. You hear all this stuff, but there is not any planning for this stuff. And I'm saying this because on two ends. One, there's no plan. Two, there's really no coaching for it. So that's my goal is I'm coaching myself. I'm leading myself because they tell us that we got to lead ourselves. I'm leading myself and creating systems that are really rock solid in my mind. And if everything goes well, let's say as a commitment by say Friday, I should be able to be in that chair, at least making one contact, which would be, like I said, be an improvement. I have other gaps of time on my day off oftentimes. Depends. So we're going to have to clean because we're in Portland this Sunday. I'm going to have to clean on Thursday. That cuts into my discretionary time. Sorry. So I look at all these things. And then, little by little, okay, you're able to make that one contact. Then I got my motel, the Everspring Inn, getting the name. 6 homicides in the last however many years. Okay, but they're cool as heck. I don't see anything going down where it's going to be, I'm going to be number 7 in homicide. Nice chair there. So if I'm hitting my time, okay, that would be my second one. Okay, probably that. And then I might have a third condo on 80th there. First one's on 85th. It's actually kind of a rough area, but a nice little condo, nice seat. So this is what I'm thinking of. I'm just telling you this. This stuff doesn't happen on its own, and it doesn't hardly get talked about. And you might think it's kind of boring, but success is boring. systems can be boring. Disciplining yourself can be boring, but it's got to be done. And we got to get, unemotional. We got to create these situations where, all right, at this time I'm doing this, boom. At this time I'm doing this, boom. And now we're in motion, So, and like I said, the way my routes have been in the past, however many, for sure, since I left custodial work and got into carrying mail, this is the first time I've been in this situation. I really feel like I can, all right, okay, I can start to think about this. So we're talking about, I left custodial probably about over a year ago, we're going on about 15 months, 14, 15 months. So that's good. Custodial, I definitely had time. I was just stressing because I was going broke, losing it all, losing everything. Just bank account, it was terrible. So I couldn't even hardly think. So I'm not in that situation either. And I thank God. Thanks for indulging me in that. But I'm sharing this because my best hope for music is to have money from my own business to fund this. There are other ways. Oh, and I got to go. I could talk about it now, I guess. Let's talk about it now. I just talk about music for Back to the Lines. Really, it's the project for Alex. So the good news, this is great news. So it's so slowly, but surely it's okay. It's progress. I get a text from him saying he's got a producer. I can't remember his name. And he's like, we all got a little group chat. So he's like, all right, we're going to get together. And I said, well, I'm available this Saturday, which was yesterday. And I never heard nothing. But it's progress. And I didn't call and say, hey, But that's great. Because like for me, I've had my ideas, but this is far superior. It's just we didn't put anything down and we didn't schedule anything. That's okay. I can get with Alex, say, hey, what's next? Where are we at with that? But, everyone seems equally reasonable. We'll see. I haven't met the producer, but sounds very good. I want to share that great news. But again, haven't done anything yet, but the potential is there for something that sounds like. All right. Merch. I got it. Wearing it. Go get it. And you can get it at Black Market Skate Shop. Thank you very much. And they're getting closer to putting those on the rack. I've seen them a couple times. They got the price tags on them and everything. They just almost don't quite have them on hangers yet. But man, they might have done it. Since I've been there, though, I've seen them sitting in a nice little pile with prices, but they haven't hung it. That's all right. We're going to get there. Did I even show you some merch? All right, Trump's going to thump. So my coworker said, "No, I like that Trump dump." He said Trump dump, and like, no, I'm definitely not saying dump Trump or anything like that. But anyway, he's from the Philippines. He's a good guy, funny guy. We crack jokes, so he likes it. Whatever. We'll see. I got a video from my supervisor, John, over there. That's a song, kind of a remake, I guess, of the Many Men, 50 Cent. I was meaning to listen to that song. Trump's been walking out to that's kind of, and that's good. That makes sense, and he tries to work that out. Yeah, so no progress there, but campaign is moving on. You'll be glorified. So this will be the first Sunday coming up, Nikkei Manor, 1:30 to 2:30, and we'll be with Will. I do not have a music person for like locked up, locked down, solidified. I have my main person who I was hoping would be available is not, and the person who's done it over the years needs a break. And so I've got I got 3 possibilities in mind, I'd say. One guy, they're all possibilities, but the show has got to go on. I don't care if I'm playing a kazoo these worship songs with the kazoo, right? I mean, we gotta have this get together. I'm not gonna not do it because of that. We could sing a cappella, can't we? I mean, right? I mean, I used to go to basically it was a plant church. You'd say we used to meet at University Heights on the Ave. They split from a church because there was a falling out. And that's really the first church I was ever attending. I think virtually, and I've heard people say, well, some theology says don't use instruments. I don't know. We can get with the will. I don't have to get into all that. All I can say is there were virtually no instruments. If there was an acoustic guitar on occasion. We'd only just sing in a circle, sing these hymns basically. It's cool. No problem. We were having church in our little circle. That's how I started going to church, and in University Heights in a little circle of people. Like, how many would that have been? 20 people. So I think we should be okay, instrument or no instrument. And I am thinking about getting a little help for where I can at least play, let's say, one worship song. Like, let's go through the hymns. What's the easiest one? And I practice it a little. I got this thing. We're almost talking moving next door. That's open right now. But now we're hearing that fellow next door to that unit's loud or something, which is the opposite of these church mice or whatever that can't handle any noise, even though they're doing karaoke half the time. So we just don't want to mess with, we don't want to go from one situation we're not too excited about to another, and moving is very stressful. But the idea would be I'm definitely playing the piano if we move next door. Anyway, I got a keyboard I can practice. So you'll be glorified, right? So that's down the road. It's not easy. And I'm telling you, the best time to talk to people about playing music is when I'm at church. Everything goes down at church. All the conversations happen at church, period. I can get on the phone, I can email, I can do this and that. But at church is where I could, and that's what was a shame. Had to do it. Bellevue Ballers had to be there. But it affects getting this solidified. So we'll just see. I'm going to have to see how good a communicators we have out there, but I'm going to see what happens. Current events, and I think I'll just go right into the song, but it hit me. I decided to listen to this fellow. So Valuetainment, we got Patrick David, I think. David, I don't know. What am I saying? PBD. Something like that. Patrick, am I even saying his name right? I don't know. Anyhow, he was interviewing a guy who was wholeheartedly against Israel, basically, wholeheartedly against, I guess they use the term Zionists or something, but he's not the first person I've heard talk like this. I had a guy who I was with a lot. We really lined up well politically, but this was a difference. And now this guy has that too, whereas I probably could go down the list of, he says he doesn't like Democrats and their ideas, but he's very much against Israel, and he's got all the all the information. But what I found interesting is literally listening to him was like listening to this other fellow. It's literally, and I don't know how they curate their information, get their information, but and I'm sure there's lots of people like this. I think if you were to listen to even Kanye West going off sometimes, or these guys that are really hostile towards Israel, they question them a lot. And this guy was saying they were better off if they didn't exist. So he would support them being eliminated. He thinks there's such a negative on the earth and towards us and whatever. I mean, I could listen to it for a period of time. I don't think he couldn't be a Christian. He had a very foul mouth. I'm like, okay. So I was just saying, because it reminded me of talking to a couple of people about cryptocurrency. And it was very similar in the sense that whatever they studied, they both, the two people I can think of, and I think there's others, studied virtually the same stuff, whereas they went on a hardcore binge study and they were able to just recite all this information and it sounded like they know exactly what they're talking about. I don't know the first thing about crypto. I don't know the first thing about all this stuff that Israel's done that's bad that they're talking about, not really trying to find out that, but that was pretty striking. And yeah, I think there's, again, I would have him, if you want to talk with, say, Will or whatever, because again, if we're cursing Israel and we're trying to get into the, he's like, they're doing this to the Palestinians. Okay, so I'm just like, well, Palestinians kind of, anyway, if you want to say there's bad actors on maybe both sides, because he used to talk about October 7th, it's kind of like a setup, and all these things are set. I'm not going to dismiss that. I don't know. In addition, I know there's a lot of bad actors out here from all places on the earth. I don't put anything past anybody. So that's fine. I won't, but when we start talking about like the end times and the numbers and how things have been predicted all along, I'm just not ready to just dump Israel, say they shouldn't exist. That just seems, I'm not going there. I'm not going to do that. I fear God way too much to do that. This guy clearly doesn't, or he thinks, I don't know. If Israel, modern day Israel isn't God's plan, what is his plan? You need to tell me what would be the plan. I'm not saying they're perfect, but what are we talking about here? So that's amazing to me. And yeah, I see that similarity. So that's totally different than what we've been talking about. And again, we're having conversations on Saturday with people, and I'm going to get a few lines in. Like I said, Will's going through replacement theology, dispensationalism. I mean, he's using the term making Jesus Jewish again and all that. Let me just make some lines so I have something. I'm not in a hurry. I'm really not. I'll just keep going because to me, this is. I say this is a heavy lift. This is what I have so far. With a heavy heart, no jest, just hoping y'all can digest what I'm saying and suspend the rest. So what do I call that? Suspend your disbelief. Well, I can say, and suspend the rest of your disbelief. As I turn over rocks, I'm going to say it like this. As I turn over rocks, turn a new leaf. Now, we know that saying. I think it just means like change your ways or do something different, right? I'm not saying I'm going to turn a new leaf. I'm already kind of on that path, but we're trying to encourage, I'll say Christians who've grown up in the church and have studied a certain way to start thinking about this. That's all I'd say. Doesn't have to be Christian. It could be anybody, but in particular, I feel like with the conversations I see, and I'm kind of alongside with Will there, he's saying one thing, everyone else saying the other, but what's not happening is there's no one, you're not introspective about your faith the way you were when you went from non-believer to Christian. And I keep saying that. So suspend the rest of your disbelief. As I turn over rocks, turn a new leaf. No, I can't say that. This ain't beef. This ain't me gnashing teeth. And we'll get back to the rhymes next time.